Welcome back to Chapter 3 of our series, Why We Do What We Do. In this episode, titled The Force of Habit, Why It's So Hard to Change, we'll explore the fascinating components of habit loops and uncover why breaking those stubborn habits can feel like an uphill battle. So, let's dive in. About half of what you did today, your brain doesn't consider a decision at all. You reached for your phone, your snack, your default reply, without really choosing. So here's the puzzle. If habits are running the show, who's actually in charge of your life? So if so much of your day runs on automatic, why do those "I'll start tomorrow" plans collapse by Wednesday? It's tempting to blame weak willpower or bad character, but the real story is less moral and more mechanical. Your brain quietly prioritizes whatever is fast, familiar, and easy to access in the moment, even when your long-term goals are louder on paper. Think of that moment you swear you'll cook more, then end up in the drive-thru with your gym bag still in the car. It's not that your goals vanished, they just lost the speed contest. The environments, timings, and emotional states that surround your routines act like backstage crew, silently setting the stage for what you'll do next. To change the script, you have to tinker with that backstage, where you are, what you see, and how you feel, rather than just giving the lead actor a more inspiring speech. Here's where it gets tricky. The same brain systems that quietly automate your day are also optimized to save energy, not to make you better. They'll favor what's familiar over what's meaningful, especially when you're tired, stressed, or overloaded. That's why big life overhauls so often snap back to old patterns once the initial motivation fades. You weren't just fighting an urge, you were bumping into an efficient, well-worn neural shortcut. To change it, you don't need louder promises, you need smaller, repeatable moves that are easier for your brain to run than the old script. In practice, that means reshaping situations, not just intentions. Here's the uncomfortable twist. Your brain doesn't store bad habits and good habits in separate folders. The same machinery that helps you drive home without thinking is also what pulls you toward the snack drawer when your meeting runs long. Under the hood, your brain is running compact little scripts that follow a simple pattern. Something happens, you do something, you get something. Researchers sometimes call this a habit loop, but what matters for you is that each loop has three moving parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue is whatever reliably comes just before the behavior: time of day, a location, a feeling, a notification. The routine is the behavior itself. The reward is the payoff your brain actually cares about: relief, stimulation, comfort, a tiny sense of closure. Often, we only notice the routine, "I keep scrolling," and judge that, while the real drivers, cue and reward, stay invisible. This is why many change attempts feel like wrestling a ghost. You try to suppress the routine directly, but the cue still fires on schedule and the brain still expects a payoff. On a neural level, that expectation is wired into circuits in the basal ganglia that learn, with repetition, when X happens, do Y to get Z. Over time, the brain's dopamine response shifts earlier in the sequence. Instead of spiking when you get the reward, it fires when the cue appears. That's the subtle jolt you feel when you open the fridge at night or see three dots typing in a chat, the sense that something satisfying is just one action away. Because these loops are compact and fast, they're also stubborn. Telling yourself, "just stop," is like trying to cancel a text after you've hit send. But the structure of the loop gives you leverage. Change tends to work best when you keep at least one part familiar while tinkering with the others. Same cue, different routine, similar reward. Or same routine, different reward. Or removing or redesigning the cue so the script never starts. One helpful way to think about it: instead of treating your day as a willpower marathon, view it as a series of tiny, programmable scripts. Your job isn't to be heroic, it's to debug and rewrite the right lines of code. A useful place to start is with the loops that already run your day. Notice how certain apps seem to open themselves whenever you're stuck in a queue or an awkward pause in conversation. The cue isn't the phone, it's that brief slice of boredom or social tension. The routine is the scroll. The reward is the tiny hit of novelty or escape. If you only blame the app, you miss the pattern that will just plug into the next platform. Or take offices that put candy bowls at the end of a corridor instead of on every desk. The physical walk becomes just enough friction that people only go when they truly want it, and the default mindless grab script doesn't fire as often. On the flip side, athletes often anchor new performance routines to existing pre-game rituals. Same locker, same song, same warm-up, but they deliberately insert a brief visualization or breathing sequence right after lacing their shoes. The old sequence carries them into the new behavior like a conveyor belt. Algorithms are quietly learning your rhythms faster than you do. As wearables track pulses and pauses, and apps log taps and swipes, a new layer appears. Systems that spot your uh-oh moments before you feel them. A future coach AI might suggest a 2-minute walk right when you'd usually dive into a doom scroll, like a navigation app rerouting you around traffic the instant it forms. Your challenge this week? Notice one tech nudge a day and ask, whose groove is this deepening, mine or theirs? You don't need perfect discipline to start steering. You just need to notice where the steering wheel actually is. Tiny shifts, moving a snack, changing a default app, pairing a new behavior with your morning coffee, can quietly tilt the path of a year. Your challenge this week? Change one first choice in your day and watch what quietly realigns around it. This was Owl Up, your daily step forward. This series continues with more chapters on owlup.co. Visit owlup.co to access the complete course and continue your learning journey. See you there!